Did you know that despite the rise in mobile banking apps and digital banking options, South Africa remains a cash-based market? But the increase in demand and usage of ATMs comes hand in hand with the increase in the amount of ATM crimes, unfortunately. So we have SABRIC CEO Kalyani Pillay back in the loft. There's various ways that criminals defraud unsuspecting victims. But I want to find out, what are the most common ways of card swapping?
Well, what happens is that card swapping is really where the criminal actually finds the opportunity to swap your card, which they will then take with another card. So they come into an ATM, and they're usually there before a person gets to the ATM. They would either set the screen of the ATM to a different language, or they could even choose the option of cardless transactions. So when a customer goes up to the ATM and wants to get their transaction done as quickly as possible, so you go in and you put your card in, and suddenly you don't know what to press because the screen looks different.
Yes.
So they come up to you and they offer you, they're around, they're loitering quite close by, and they do that so that they can manipulate you into acquire assistance. They offer you assistance, they press the cancel button. If your card is already in, they press the cancel button so quickly because they're talking to you during this whole process, and they put another card into the ATM. They take your card. Of course, you don't know it because they do it so quickly.
Of course.
They put your card into their pockets. They then say to you, well, go ahead and now do the transaction, and they're standing with you. And what they now do is, so they've already swapped your card, they now do shoulder surfing. So shoulder surfing is they're standing right close by to you. You're busy putting in your PIN number. You think this kind person has offered you assistance.
Yes.
And so you don't tell them to go away, and you don't block the keypad. You insert your PIN number. 4 numbers, of course, they're going to remember it because they've now got your card. And of course, your transaction is not going to happen because it's somebody else's card that's in the machine. So they've got the PIN number, there's no transaction, so there's no withdrawal, and so the daily limit is still available. They then say to you, well, sorry, you're going to have to go into your bank branch.
I tried my best.
And off they go, and off you go, all really upset about everything, and they go to the nearest ATM to that one. So they won't do it there, but they need to act very quickly before you discover that you don't have your card.
Yes.
So they would go and they now have your card, they now have your PIN number, and they'll draw whatever is your maximum
withdrawal limit.
And that's why we say to bank customers all the time, firstly, don't ever take assistance from anybody at an ATM.
Okay.
If you want to, rather go to the ATM, check to see that it's the screen that you're familiar with. If not, press cancel, get the screen that you can. If you're still not comfortable, leave the ATM and go to another one. Also, make sure that when you take your card out of an ATM, now none of us generally do this, but it needs to become habit. When you take the card out of the ATM, read it. Because what people tend to do as human beings, we just take the card in the bag, off we go.
Yes.
It's only later that you realize that you don't have your card. Had you realized it there and then, you could actually call the call center and stop your card there and then. And of course, then the person wouldn't be able to use it. So it's just these things that we really have to be vigilant all the time.
Absolutely. So they have to become a habit, and you've given us such incredible do's and don'ts. I've taken away a lot. My mind is blown. I've been so naive to it, but there are people out there that don't have the best interests at heart, and thank you so much for bringing it to the forefront. Switching to digital may seem like the obvious route to avoid carrying cash and any ATM crimes, but cyber criminals are out there too, and SIM swaps are one of the easiest ways that they can defraud us. So join us next week when SABRIC CEO Kalyani Pillay explains exactly how we can avoid becoming another statistic.
We are brave, innovative, everywhere. We are SABRIC.